Hey everybody, Chris from 6 Wins. I'm here with Matt, and before we get into the matchup of the day, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and people say that, so we're saying it. If you don't want to do that stuff, don't do it. CM Punk, number 6 seed, versus the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, 11 seed. And then the second matchup is like ultimate battle of the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. Two of the most popular gimmicks of all time. Number 3 seed, you gotta do the impression.
The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah.
Versus Jake the Snake, who didn't really move his mouth a lot when he talked. He was very menacing. While everyone was going big, he was going small.
Like Liam Neeson. Almost sounds like you're Liam Neeson.
Ooh, Jake.
But without the accent.
Jake the Snake, take it. Quick question before we get into it, Matt.
Yeah.
I would say 2 of the biggest attributes that make a good WWE superstar are best in-ring worker and best mic skills. Out of these 4 guys, who is the best in-ring worker and who has the best mic skills? And you can have the same answer for all.
Oh, jeez. Wow. This is surprising because I thought it would be harder to pick best in-ring worker. And we've talked about this, at least I have, and almost ad nauseum. So I'll like try to wrap up quick. But because guys set the stage for what you can do at a certain era, and the guys that come after want to do that and more, expectations of what is capable in ring or in a sport or in any field where like skill and talent can change across time, those expectations change. And guys like Macho Man and Jake the Snake and Ted DiBiase were working in a set of expectations that I would, for what they needed to do in the ring or what was expected by fans, that is lower than what guys during CM Punk's time was, when people were like, we need to see these moves and these spots, and we have higher expectations because new guys came along and showed us what was possible. So for sure, if you're just comparing like in-ring work period, CM Punk, because he came from a different time, was a better in-ring worker, I would say. If you're trying to compare like, well, relative to like what was expected of them, is there a guy that matches what they needed to do in ring during their era that Punk could do in his? And I don't think so. I would still go CM Punk here. I mean, like you said, these guys were like very, like, some of the most recognizable gimmicks from like the late 80s. Definitely. And a lot of times the gimmick guys didn't need to do as much in-ring quality work. Macho Man was massively over for his character, his look, his storylines, his feuds with other big names like Hogan. $1 Million Man, massive heel. Most of his work and his best stuff that he's known for is, of course, being a heel and just having catchphrases. And
can you do the $1 Million Man laugh?
I don't think so.
I think anyone can do it.
I can know it's
Rollins.
Yeah, that's Seth Rollins.
yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah, and then Jake the Snake even was a gimmick. He was a man who came to the ring with a snake used as a weapon sometimes. Yeah. So I would go CM Punk in-ring work. Mic skills, you would think this one would be easier because CM Punk is almost more known for mic skills than in-ring work, and he is tremendous. But $1 Million Man is also tremendous, as I just said. His character was mostly mic work. And Macho Man, there's something about him. He just sucks you in. He's so engaging. Anytime he's talking, you want to watch him. I'm gonna pick Macho Man for like best mic guy, even though it's comparing 2 different things. Macho Man, anytime he talks, you're like, I'm listening to this guy. He's so engaging. I'm just totally in tune, and he's hilarious. Must see. But CM Punk like actually talks about things that matter when he talks. Macho Man is just like the old school wrestler that just like says weird things. You're like, what does that mean? But I'm here for it. So that's how I go. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, I'm going Punk for both. Sorry to say, but I was thinking like, all right, who's the best talker? The reason I'm going Punk is because he's got my favorite promo of all time with the pipe bomb. But I'm like, but $1 Million Man was awesome on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Macho Man was awesome on the mic. Jake the Snake is probably my second choice just because he took it in a different direction. Like when everyone was yelling, Macho Man, Hogan, Warrior were just yelling, who could be louder, Legion of Doom. He just was like whispering. So I really like that. But yeah, in terms of in-ring work, Macho Man, probably best known for that match with Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 in terms of matches. $1 Million Man, I don't know that I can tell you one good $1 Million Man match. Not to dog him, but that was just a little before my time.
Yeah, I feel like the most memorable $1 Million Man moment or like feud that led to a match was maybe like when Virgil finally turned on him. And I'm sure they had like a payoff match, but I'm sure it wasn't like a 5-star classic. It was a good match because it had the storyline behind it.
Right. Cool. So, in these two matchups, CM Punk versus $1 Million Man, I mean, it sounds like you might be going Punk, but did you have any extra thoughts?
Yeah, I'll get this out of the way. And like after Punk's pipe bomb promo, the Summer of Punk, and basically up until he left WWE, he was probably my favorite wrestler at that, like during that time. I thought he was incredible, great in ring, great on the mic. I bought in. I love the blurring of lines between reality and what's actually, kayfabe scripted. And so I was so bought into it, man. That the pay-per-view for was it at Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank 2011.
That pay-per-view got me back into wrestling. I had been out of it for a while, and I was like, Dad, brother, I was at home. For whatever reason for this month, I was like, we're renting this and we're watching this, and they got into it. Like, it was that good. It was incredible. I've since kind of soured on him just hearing. I checked it out when he went to AEW and was like, oh, this is cool. And I always wanted him to stick to his guns and not come back to WWE because I would respect that, because he at least stand by his word. If you truly hated him, thought it was as despicable as a place, don't go back. Right. If you truly believe that. But with what happened at AEW and things like that behind the scenes, I'm starting to just be like, maybe part of the problem is him, and I don't think he's man enough to admit it. Calling you out, Punk. You want a match? You're not man enough to admit that you're part of the problem, and I'll see you in Chicago, Illinois. Not my hometown, but my home state, so we'll pretend I'm from there for a Loser Leaves Illinois Forever match. Dang. Bring AJ. We want to see her. She's one of my favorite women. When we do Best Women, she'll probably be 1 or 2 seed. She's awesome. Yeah, I would still pick CM Punk over $1 Million Man, though. Even though I thought this one, I didn't know if there was enough people that were just tired of CM Punk and his attitude that they might go, give me DiBiase. But I would go Punk here. Yeah, Ted DiBiase is a legend. Whenever they do a Legends Night, he's always there doing his Everyone Has a Price. It'll be like a backstage poker segment. And it'll be like, I lost all my money. Where am I going to get more money? Durr. He's going to be like, everyone has a price. But Punk all the way. I guess I've soured on Punk a fraction, but the pipe bomb's still legendary. Summer Punk's still legendary. I wish they had made Rock vs. Cena 2 a triple threat with Punk. I love Punk and Rock, Punk Rock. And then when he came back to AEW, it got my eyeballs on the product. Yeah. That opening promo, that feud with MJF was awesome. The feud with Darby Allin was awesome. The feud with Eddie Kingston. He just killed it, and I wish. Part of me wishes that this is all kayfabe, and he just went away because he had to have some surgeries and just needed to take time off. I'm hoping he comes back and they play up on Punk versus Elite because I think he's best for business. So, but I'm going Punk. And when the votes came in on Twitter, on TikTok, and on Instagram, CM Punk is moving on to the second round. That's 1 win for Punk, and he will be facing the winner of this match. Yeah. Number 3 seed, Macho Man, versus number 14 seed, Jake the Snake Roberts. You have any thoughts on Macho Man Jake the Snake? Yes. First, I'm actually, if there's one thing that I have that's close to a phobia, it is ophidiophobia, which is the fear of snakes. Okay. I can't see certain images of snakes, especially if they come up very quickly and very suddenly, I will jump. I will,
Yeah.
I don't like snakes. So I don't like Jake the Snake for that reason also. And Macho Man is just, my God. His image and his look is like, you know him, you've seen him.
Uh-huh.
If you are over the age of like 20 years old, and even that's probably counting people that are pretty young, but if you're over the age of 20 years old, you probably have seen this guy, this literal human clown, this rodeo clown with a cowboy hat. But man, he's just legendary, and I think he could go in the ring too. He had great matches. I remember seeing, it was a little past his prime, but WCW stuff, which was during my prime and my start of wrestling, still got to see him in a lot of big matches and knew and still he could go in the ring. So I would pick Macho Man for this one. And I figured my prediction was that Macho Man would win this one too.
For sure. Good prediction. Good take. I also hate snakes. I don't think I have quite the phobia, but I hate snakes with a passion. But I respect the hell out of Jake Roberts for turning his life around. The story with him and Diamond Dallas Page, super inspiring. I love stories like that. A lot of wrestlers end up in bad spots from just the years of abuse on their body, and sometimes drugs, sometimes alcohol, whatever. Right. So super. But in terms of best WWE superstar, best wrestler, I'm going Macho Man. I think Macho Man might be a fraction overrated with mic work specifically. Like, his promos were legendary, but kind of like with Warrior, I just have this vision of like, they just did Tony Montana levels of cocaine, and then they shoved the mic in their face, and then they just said whatever came to their mind, like way too pumped up.
I would agree.
But still iconic. But I'm going Macho Man, and when we ran the poll on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, Macho Man did win.
Oh, yeah.
And it was kind of a landslide. I want to say we had to have Jake the Snake tap out. And we ran a second matchup that day because Macho Man train rolled him. And we will end on this.
Oh, we've got Macho Man versus CM Punk.
We have Macho Man versus CM Punk.
In the next round.
Macho Man versus CM Punk. I'm taking CM Punk. Matt's taking Macho Man. The loser has to dress up like Macho Man and go to the mall.
Ooh, yeah. Deal, brother.